Well, hello good people, and welcome back to the channel. In just a few moments, you'll get to hear my thoughts and feelings on the Season 1 Nekkid and Afraid of Love reunion episode. Now, if you saw the previews for the reunion show, you would know that some of the scenes that were shown were pretty exciting and showcased exciting moments that were missing throughout this season. So would this reunion episode make up for the series of disappointing episodes that I watched over the past season? Did some of the show's storylines have a proper conclusion at this reunion? Stay tuned to find out. So normally with my recaps and reviews, I go through a scene-by-scene breakdown of what happened throughout the episode, and I give my opinions about it along the way. Well, let me save you some time on that. The reunion episode has a runtime of roughly an hour and 15 minutes, and in my opinion, over half of this show's episode is boring and repetitive. And out of the 16 participants that were on this season's show, 4 of them were missing from the reunion. They were Rachel, Nelson, Ben, and the lovely Chelsea. The forgettable David came to the reunion, but he doesn't have a single word of dialogue throughout the entire show. In fact, he's only visible for a few seconds of the entire episode. A sort of blink and you'll miss him type of situation. So let's get into the first 60% of the reunion show. The host is shown asking the participants to reflect on their experiences of the show. We see scenes of Candace and Bennett talking about their experience with one another. Lauren and Barack reflect on the infamous episode 1 erection that Barack had on display for Lauren. And we also get to hear about the Bennett, Britt, and Michael situation one more time, which is the equivalent of beating a dead horse with a stick. The host puts Cassalei and Jay on the spotlight regarding couples who hooked up on the island. While Cassalei and Jay don't exactly admit to having sex, Jay admits to shooting off his load while kissing Cassalei on the beach, which was information that I really didn't care to hear about. Britt admits to hooking up with Michael, and there's radio silence amongst the remainder of the cast members about whether or not they hooked up. Jay is then put on the spotlight regarding his decision to date all the women on the island. Jay stands his ground in saying that he felt the need to date all the women to make the best decision for himself. But Britt, being Britt, interrupts Jay and is very combative, sharing that she didn't need to date all the guys to find her connection. Well, Britt, how did that method work for you? Not too well from what I saw. But this isn't the first time Britt showed her annoying side of the reunion. During a scene where Cassalei discusses her decision to leave Jay and migrate to the other group, Britt opens her mouth and takes credit for encouraging Cassalei to empower herself. So when it comes to the 3 couples that made it to the season finale, let me discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is Crystal and Candace. We learned that after Decision Day, Candace and Crystal are still very much seeing each other and have admitted to being in love. During the show, Jay takes it upon himself to apologize to both of them for questioning the authenticity of their relationship. And to be honest, I was right there with him, because I never thought that Candace was 100% into women. But I'm glad to see that the 2 of them are now seeing each other at least once a month and things are working out for them. The bad occurs with Michael and Britt, and this happens towards the last 40% of the show. After Decision Day, we learn that on the plane ride home, Michael receives a text message from an old flame, and he sends her a shirtless selfie. Britt notices the picture that was sent, so she grabs Michael's phone and goes through it to confirm her suspicions. Britt then essentially gets angry because Michael quote-unquote cheated on her. Michael claims that things were happening so fast when he received those messages, and he and Britt didn't have any plans set in stone to see each other. So to everyone checking out this review, do you feel that Michael was in the right or the wrong for what he did? In my opinion, he was right. Britt said it herself on Decision Day that she's not ready to be in a committed relationship with Michael, but would like to see if they can work on things. Well, Britt, Michael is from Canada, and in your interviews, you told the viewing audience that jealousy and misunderstandings are viewed as red flags to you, and Michael had too many. So because Michael and Britt were technically still single, I feel that Michael did what was in his best interest, and Britt overreacted before giving Michael a chance to explain himself to her. Which is ironic, because not too long ago, Britt was angry with Michael for overreacting for her going with Bennett to the cave. But the situation divides the cast, with the women siding with Britt on the matter. We ultimately learned that Michael is now in a committed relationship with the woman he was sending texts to, while Britt is still single. I can only imagine what's going through Bennett's mind through all this. And the ugly would have to be the Jay and Cassalei situation. To To make a long story short, Jay, Cassalei, Stef, Ariel, Bennett, and Nelson met with some of their friends in Nashville shortly after the conclusion of the season. During this time, there was some friction between Jay and Cassalei. Cassalei felt that Jay wasn't giving her enough attention, and Jay just wanted to have a good time while in Nashville. Back at the Airbnb, Stef and Cassalei share a kiss together, which Jay doesn't find out until much later on. Jay and Cassalei break up, and that appears to be the end of that. During the reunion, Jay addresses the situation with Cassalei and Stef, and he also calls Stef out for hearing that Stef was talking trash about him behind his back, but all seems to be forgiven. Ariel then adds her 2 cents in the situation and accuses Stef of not feeling any remorse about his actions. As Ariel is questioning Stef, he accuses Ariel of being mad that they didn't become anything more than what they were on the island, and that's when sassy Ariel comes out. Seems like there was some heavy editing during this part of the show, because we don't see any further interaction between the two of them. This is when the bombshell is dropped. Cassalei admits to going to New York and staying with Stef on a trip after the show. We as the audience see Cassalei and Stef hug, and Cassalei is wearing a cleavage-friendly shirt, might I add. We also see Stef giving Cassalei a kiss, and Cassalei being shown the city by Stef. Jay didn't know about the second kiss between Cassalei and Stef, and this causes Jay to walk off the set and get very emotional about the situation. In an interview, Stef admits that he knew that the clip was going to get aired, and he knew that Jay's reaction was going to be negative, which begs the question, Stef, why not tell Jay about the situation up front instead of blindsiding him on the reunion about it? The show then spends a lot of time harping on how Jay felt about the situation, and Cassalei and Stef seem emotionally cut off from the situation. Turns out that Stef went to LA to visit Cassalei, but they didn't do anything worth mentioning for the review. The rest of the cast meets with the host, and they share their last words on the season. Overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this reunion episode a solid 3. Sadly, all the best parts of the reunion were shown in the previews of the previous episode, and this episode was about 15 minutes longer than it needed to be. Furthermore, for my sanity, there were some things that I wanted to know about the conclusion of the show. 1. Where are the missing participants from the reunion show, and why didn't they make it to the reunion? 2. Why weren't all the participants given adequate time to answer all the questions about their experience? 3. How authentic was their Nekkid and Afraid experience? Did they ever have to truly hunt for their food, or was the food provided to them? I ask this because usually with Nekkid and Afraid, participants who last the entirety of the show lose a significant amount of weight due to lack of food, and throughout this season, we only get a handful of scenes with Ben trying to hunt for food, but we never get to see the cast members show any level of survival skills. And finally, how did the cast members handle issues with hygiene? But this caps off my recaps and review for the first season of Nekkid and Afraid of Love. As some of you already know, this show has been picked up for a second season, and next week around this time, I'll be posting my pitch for a proper season 2 of Nekkid and Afraid of Love. I guarantee that my pitch will drastically improve the current format of the show. So let me know what you thought about my review or the episode below in the comment section, and I'll respond to each and every comment. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.